Welcome everybody to another quick hit review video. It is the 29th of January. There's just two trade setups that I'm looking at. When I say just two, there are two trades that meet my rules, and both of them are head and shoulders, which is very nice to see. This looks like a very nice opportunity as well, and I'm really hoping to get an entry on this, and I'm going to talk through what this potential setup is. So to do that, we will take a look at the higher time frame analysis, and we have a fair bit of confirmation on this. Let's go out to the weeklies first of all. I'm now trading a percentage of my account, and so I'm getting into the routine of checking the weeklies because some of my trades now are on the daily time frame, and the reason for that is even though it takes a lot longer to complete, typically I get a far better reward to risk. And since I'm trading at 0.5% of my account, if I can get a 3-to-1 reward to risk instead of a 2-to-1 or 1.5-to-1 just simply by being on the dailies, then I then need to check my higher time frame, which is the weeklies. So here on the weeklies, you never usually find a great deal on the weeklies other than, for me personally, just candlestick setups, and that's very true here. There's absolutely nothing for me here. You can see we've been down to that level 3 times, and we are back up in this level just here. So we could be putting in a bit of a channel here. It's very weak if you ask me personally, because we've already come down to test previous structure down here, but that is what he's setting up. And in terms of candlesticks, other than this big long wick which has come up here and we've seen a big rejection, there isn't a great deal here. But please take note that we are at the 16300 psychological number, and I'm hoping we're going to see a reaction at this zone. Now as I drop down to the daily time frame, that structure level, other than this area here, can be seen very nicely here, 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 here. In fact, I need to move this up a little bit just to the close of the candles. We had this big bullish momentum candle and then doji, okay, right at this 16300 psychological number. So multiple holds at this structure level. We've come up into structure, we've put in a big doji candle and currently holding that level. Now, this daily candle will not close until the end of the day, so we don't know how it's going to finish, but it is very conceivable that this could pull all the way down and we could get a beautiful 3-bar reversal here. We won't know that until tomorrow. Let's drop down though another time frame. Let's drop down to the 240. So with that in mind, that we could be looking for a short opportunity, then what could we be setting up here? Well, we could be seeing a few things. First of all, I'm going to put a structure level on at the closes of the candles, which is there, and also at the wicks, just there. I'm going to zoom out, and you'll notice that this, let me get rid of that, sorry. And you'll notice now that we have violated here on the 240 all of these structure levels. Okay, so on the dailies we've held it, but on the 240 we haven't, we've violated. So if we look for more structure, let's look left. We do actually have more structure here on the 240. So I'm just going to zoom in for this. You can see we've had a little bit of a reaction there. We've got a nice reaction here, a nice reaction here, a nice reaction here. Here as well, look at this. Triple bottom, 1, 2, 3, big reaction off that zone, little test here as well. Keep going. Was there anything else? You can see, oh, just gone past it. Here, 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 and the underneath here as well. So we have another structure level on the 240 that is currently holding this level. Now this could now be a few things. First of all, we do have the RSI overbought with divergence, and we've seen a rally. Now this could be a double top, and we could see price come up to this level. The problem for me with this being a double top is that it's already come down into this level of structure. In fact, correction, we did not. We almost came down to that level of structure, but we certainly did not come down to this level of structure. Now, yes, this could be a double top, and if that's the case, then having your stop above this level is much preferred. But let's drop down another time frame. So let's drop down to the 60. And what do we see? Well, within that structure zone, we now see a potential head and shoulders. And so we see a swing in the market down here, a relatively directional rally, a pullback, a move higher. Very importantly, look where we closed. We closed within our structure level, so we need to be inside of it, not outside of it. Okay, so this is a structure hold on the 60 based on the 240. We saw a move lower, then we saw a pullback. We did not violate the left shoulder, so this right shoulder is lower than the left. That's always a good sign. And then what we did is we broke to the downside, giving us a head and shoulders looking like this. So what am I looking for now? Well, I'm looking at the outside return, which I'm going to fully highlight here. And very, very simply, I'm going to be looking for an entry. Now that entry, I was hoping that as I drop down to the 15 minutes, I'd see a flag pattern. There wasn't. So I'm simply going to use, for me, a simple trend continuation strategy. And that is a lower low, lower close candle within the candle bodies. Okay, so not the wicks, but the candle bodies. And that is just like that. Now, if I don't get it, I can look for a last chance entry, which is within the wicks here, look for another rotation pattern. If that's all a little bit confusing to you, don't worry. All this is explained in the educational material. Go ahead and log in, and along with the educational material is very in-depth tutorials on what these types of patterns are, how they work, how we gain our entry. And there are also many live trade examples as well of these trades going on to win and lose. But for me personally, I'm now going to be looking for that lower low, lower close. And we are at that psychological number 16300 flat. I am just going to pop down to the 15. I've only just got back from the solicitors. I've just had some work that I needed to do there. Yeah, there's nothing on the 15. Okay, so quite simply a lower low, lower close on the 60. And if we get that, guys, let's say we get our entry just here, stops need to be an ATR above the outside return, which is currently 19 pips. So we'll make that 63.36, 36, 35, one more. So hard using the laptop because it's a wireless mouse, and when I move it takes just a millisecond to update along with it, which is a real pain. I really miss my 4 screens and my PC. So we can look for a number of things. The first thing is that we have the highest probability of hitting an equal measured move than anything else. Now that equal measured move brings us to here. However, look at this lower structure level just here. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4 levels of structure right here. In fact, you can just a little bit lower, we have this one and this one right here as well, and a couple of structure holds there. So for me personally, this is the structure level that I would be playing for. So if that is the risk, what could be the reward? I'm hoping I was going to get a 2-to-1 reward to risk here. It might be a bit of a push. I'm going to make that one green. Okay, and if we was to get our entry there, we'd be looking at a risk of 44 pips. Don't think my reward is going to be 88. 73, just a little bit short. So I'm hoping for a slightly better reward to risk. 2-to-1 reward to risk, because I'm now trading a percentage of my account, is very much preferred. I haven't implemented that rule on all of my strategies because some of them, like high and low and tight flags, have a very high win rate. So there's a little bit of wiggle room on that one. But for me personally, now I'm going to be waiting for that lower low, lower close. And that will be the structure level. I do think that if we come down here and we end up giving a lovely 3-bar reversal on the dailies, that we could see a far bigger move lower. However, I'm very happy because I'm trading a percentage to the account to get a 2-to-1 reward to risk on a high probability trade. The other thing I was looking at was, I think it was the Aussie dollar Swiss. Let me have a look. Yes, it was. Okay, so again, daily time frame here. Zooming in. What you should be noticing is that this is the very lowest structure just here where the candle's closed. We have come down and tested that structure level. Now, if it's valid for you, yeah, there is a back pattern here. Okay, that'll give you a little bit more confluence. If it's valid for you, it's a bit of a stretch to be honest with you, but let's go down to the 240. What I am looking at is this being, in fact it was on the daily, sorry, let me go back. This AB equals CD pattern right here. So we duplicate that and we move it down to that point. And as you can see, AB equals CD pattern coming in to previous structure based on the daily time frame. I don't think there was any fib confluence down here. Let me double check again. So yes, there is a 1618 inversion, and do we see a 1414 extension? If we do, that's lovely, fantastic. Yes, we do. So two of my best fibs that I like to see with these AB equals CD patterns is the 1618 inversion and the 1414. They are my highest probability AB equals CD patterns. So then we can drop down the time frames and we can start looking for entry reasons. Now, what you should be noticing is that we have seen lift off from this point. We put in a higher high, higher close candle, higher high, higher close. And if I put a structure level on right here, a couple of things you should be noticing. First of all, we have not as yet come up to test previous structure. Second of all, my targets for the AB equals CD pattern would be a 38.2 fib. And we've also fallen short of that. So let's just zoom out a little. Make sure again that structure has been held and tested. So this is the very low here of the candle closes just here. And did we come down to test that area? Yes, we did. And as you can see, we've tested and held that structure level. So I am again allowed to drop one time frame lower. Now this is where it gets really interesting because we are now down on the 60. So we have a swing in the market, a fairly directional move, a pullback, a move lower, look again, structure has been held. Then we've seen a move higher. So what I'm looking for now is a move down to this left shoulder. Okay, so anywhere within this zone, I'm going to be looking for a higher high, higher close. Problem here. No, we should have the reward to risk to do it. If we get a higher high, higher close just here, stops need to go an ATR below the low, which is currently just 10 pips, so that makes it 13. Just working out the reward to risk. I'm going to make that red as usual for the risk. And then we're going to be making up here, yeah, we've definitely got a 2-to-1 reward to risk here. I'm going to make this green. Okay. Now, don't forget, you can also look for your first chance entry, which is just at the top here in the wicks, the second chance entry or the last chance entry, again, within the wicks down here. I'll be looking for all three, and then we'll be looking for a continuation on up to that 38.2, and this one looks like we may have an equal measured move, something similar to that if it comes off. So the reward to risk, depending where we get our entry, of course, we don't know where that is yet, at 39 pips for a reward of around 86. So I'm well over a 2-to-1 reward to risk there. And quite simply, I'm going to be looking for a higher high, higher close. Now, this is one of those instances where the head and shoulders is a very small low left shoulder and a very high right shoulder, but nevertheless it is still valid. The other way to look at it is that we came down, pulled back, came lower, and then boom, we rallied and violated structure. So this gave us an initial structure high and a pullback. For me personally, though, this is a Head and Shoulders, and I'm going to be looking for that higher high, higher close there. So that's really all I had on the radar, guys. There wasn't anything else. 2 Head and Shoulders. Fingers crossed. I would love to get in at least one of them. Of course, I'd like to be in both of them, and see some lovely movements here on those two opportunities.